a massive bounce back towards the upside for altcoins, but more specifically these type of altcoins. This comes at a time where we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance about to fall off a cliff, a signal that for the last 3 times we've seen it has resulted in a massive altcoin season. In this video, we're going to talk about specific altcoins that are seeing a big bounce right now and understand why it is and how we can catch them early. We're also going to look into the meme mania, see whether it can sustain itself, and draw ties between that and the NFT markets of old. So do me a favor, hit that like button, and let's find out what's going on in crypto. Now, first things first, let's start with this chart from Crypto-Prof. As you can see, this is the Bitcoin dominance over the last 18 months or so, as Bitcoin has basically been outperforming most of the other altcoins out there. However, Prof points out on the bottom, the MACD crossover is bearish. And the last 3 times this happened, we saw massive altcoin seasons. And this crossover happening right now could indicate that we are about to fall into another altcoin season. And as we look over to Banter Bubbles, which comes from CryptoBanter.com, we can see that there are various big green bubbles to look at. And you're probably having your eyes drawn to certain bubbles within this space, particularly the likes of Brett and Pepe and all the other meme coins. But I'm going to talk about what's going on with meme coins slightly later on. However, if you have the ability to overcome your confirmation bias and see the bigger picture here, you will see that there are certain other big green bubbles that are blowing up towards the upside. Talbitenza, Bingx, Arweave, Render, Lido Finance, Fetch AI, Pendle, ENS, and a bunch of others. And why we're seeing a massive blow up in these bubbles right now? Well, because of what I was telling you on a video I made on Monday. And for those of you who remembered what I said on Monday, you will probably understand why these bubbles are blowing up right now. I explained to you that crypto is simply a game that's being played between a number of different entities. Retail investors like us, big venture capital funds, and some of the smart money floating around in the middle, the devs. And basically all of these different parties are playing games to try and steal money from each other. But ultimately the big money and the VCs will control the markets over a period of time, pushing people from euphoria phases where we tend to ape into the market, thinking that we're very pleased with our investments. Then we see it pile into the downside, we all get panicky and scared, the market is not going in my favor, I need to get out of it. And that's simply because this is also happening. We get pushed into hope phases, and then we get shaken out. And I told you in the last video that we are somewhere towards the end of this shakeout phase. Whether we're at the exact end, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure we're close to the end of it, because what's going on in the wider markets. I then went on to tell you, if you went to coinmarketcap.com, you could customize the filters and click on 90 days, percentage, and then sort for the most down in the 90-day percentage, and then you could go and find some of the best opportunities. We looked in through this video and we talked about certain coins like Bingx, The Graph, Injective, Singularity Net, Fetch AI, that were all pretty much suffering more than any other altcoin out there and probably gave us some of the best opportunities. Lo and behold, we jump back to this website, we see some of the top performers today are those coins. And why is that? Well, because we know that all of this game is manipulated to make you part with your money. Therefore, you're taking your money out of these altcoins that are down here and you're moving it into coins that are up here, which I'll be talking about later on. And remember, if we know that the markets are being manipulated to shake us out right now, then we know at some point they'll turn around very quickly on us. And there's no mystery as to why these coins are pumping today. Because yesterday we saw the market tank towards the downside and deliver most of these coins into big old buy zones. And you can see Bingx, this was basically where this originated from. We had a buy zone. We drew this green box on yesterday. You can see it dipped down nicely into here. And now today it's ripped back towards the upside. In fact, over the last 2 days, it's now up nearly 20%. What other coins are on here? Render. Where do we identify a buy zone? Well, a buy zone is from an area we see these big candles pushing out of, okay? Big candles equal big money. Big money are prepared to buy at certain prices. I often like to tell this story about the Pink Lady apple, a rather delicious apple, but a little bit on the premium side. An apple that I would always try and get my mum to buy when she went to the supermarket. A little bit more expensive, she didn't want to buy them at premium prices. Therefore, when they dip down and they're on discount sale, she comes home with my favourites. And this is exactly the same. Big money, who's happy to buy Render and whatever at this price down here before it pumps all the way up there, doesn't want to pay this price for it. Therefore, they won't continue to buy. In fact, they might sell at this point. Therefore, retail investors get bored. They go somewhere else. They're like, oh, altcoins won't pump the same like they did back in my day. They all go off to look for shiny new objects, and then, they completely lose track of what's going on in the altcoin market. Meanwhile, we find ourselves these buy zones where the big money was loading up before. We then push back into these buy zones, and guess what? We wick out of the buy zones. Render pushes up 17-18%. So what do we need to do about it? Well, like I said, go through here, find top 100, top 200 coins that have been crushed towards the downside as everyone stopped paying attention. Look for ones that had good, strong hope phases and are now getting shaken out. You want to find ones that had good, strong hope phases, okay? People are like, well, why not buy into strength? Guys, this doesn't indicate weakness, okay? This indicates strength. Don't pay attention to the shakeout, pay attention to the hope. During the hope phases, coins that were showing significant strength that then pulled back are not weak. Coins that are still stuck in depression phase, like XRP and XDC and XLM and Quant and whatever else, to be honest, those are not showing signs of strength. Okay, so coins that showed signs of hope and strength that are now getting shaken out are not weak. Render's a good example of this. What else? Arweave. Guys, go and draw boxes from these buy zones. Look, every time it dips back in, it gets bought up. Arweave dips in yesterday. From the bottom, is now at 25%. Agix as well. Now you're like, well, there's no buy zone to be seen there, or we're way below the buy zone. Well, guess what? When we drop below a buy zone, like we've done here for this particular coin, which is Singularity Net and one of the more popular AI coins, and AI being one of the more popular narratives, will pump again when people start to pay attention to altcoins once more, and they will, because at some point, VCs will inject liquidity back into these altcoins and get you all back and focused about it again. And yes, most of us are just puppets, okay? We will follow the green bubbles, okay? And the green bubbles will be created again for these altcoins, like it's happening right now, and then everyone will run back in and start paying attention, but most of you are not paying attention right now. So what do? We drop down to a 4-hour chart, and let's come across. Now, if we couldn't find the buy zone on a daily chart, we can simply find it on this chart here, okay? You can see where big candles originate from. Here's one, big candle. These are big candles, but obviously we missed this buy zone, okay? We've dropped down below it. You can see that this buy zone kind of originates from here, and then we dip back in, confirm this is a buy zone. Does that make clear? So let's just have a look at that again. This is a very big sideways piece of time. We then get a nice big pump out of it, showing suddenly buyers step in, big buyers. Goes sideways, it dips back into this area again. Eventually, sellers get exhausted and it pushes. Therefore, you can see that this is an area we can call a buy zone. Let's see what happens if we ever get back in, and we're lucky enough to get back in. Agix arrives back in. Apples are at a good value. My mum's buying the pink ladies. Here we go. We're back in the money. There's a buy zone, okay? All in conjunction with what is going on in the markets. Forget what people are telling you about, oh, crypto's dead. Only money to be made is in meme coins right now, or whatever it is. Agix, there's a buy zone. It's so straightforward. And guys, I want to make something clear. I'm not anti-meme coin, okay? There are meme coins out there that will continue to grow, and Turbo itself actually had a very significant sell-off from this top, pulled back around 64%, and even Turbo has identified a buy zone here and started to pick up out of a buy zone. I think some of the meme coins, the Bretts of this world, the Turbos of this world, the Dog Go to the Moon, Redo, the Resistance Dog, and a bunch of others will still have strong moves towards the upside over a period of time. They will become mainstream. They'll be falling into this altcoin model, which means they'll perform along with the rest of the altcoins. But 99% of the stuff out there that people are trading all the time talking about is extremely risky when you don't need to take the risks, because it's so easy to make money in the altcoins once more. Where it wasn't easy before, it's now easy to make money in the altcoins. When the markets are down, it's easier to make money than it is when the markets are at the top. And this is a bit of concern from altcoins. I watched Crypto Banter talking about meme coins the other day. He showed this chart here, pump.fun, which is basically a website that's been going absolutely crazy for meme coins, people launching meme coins all the time. These are all the new meme coins that are getting launched. We can see that there are new users using pump.fun. This is a June dashboard called Griffsys Academy /pump.fun if you want to go and look at this. But we can see that the new users are slowly starting to trail off. And that's because all the people who wanted to be in memes are already in memes. It's becoming way more difficult all the time. There's more people getting rugged and scammed by the day in these newer memes, which means that they're less willing to go and part with their money. It's all getting diluted because there's way more projects arriving into the space, which makes it more complex. And then you had all the celebrities roll in and take loads of money out. And when have we seen this before? Well, do you remember when Justin Bieber and Logan Paul and Gary Vaynerchuk and Taylor Swift, or was it Paris Hilton, were all buying $1 million Bored Ape yacht clubs and whatever else, and then they piled in towards the downside because Justin Bieber paid 500 Ethereum for his Bored Ape yacht, and now you can pick one up for 9.25 Ethereum, which is a little bit of a painful loss. And without fail, guys, crypto moves from times of excitement and hype, which builds prices, to times of doom and gloom, which drops prices, and this cycle will always repeat because people will always take profits and buyers will always get exhausted. It's a fundamental thing that happens in markets, and it happens over and over again. And looking in OpenSea right now, you can see most of these Bored Ape yachts are now at like 9 point something ETH. In fact, I really do quite like this one. Maybe I should buy it because no one's talking about these right now. Shall we think about it? Maybe if I get over 2,000 likes on this video, then there is a chance that I go and buy this Bored Ape Yacht Club on a live stream that I'm going to do either tomorrow or Friday. So if you want to see me part with a lot of money for a few pixels, then just hit the like button and maybe you can get me to do something really silly. So yes, just to make things clear, I'm not telling you that like meme coins like Turbo and stuff are going to go to zero, but it's going to get condensed massively. Be very cautious, okay? When everyone's talking about something, when everyone is telling you to buy it, this is when you probably want to be getting out, okay? When everyone suddenly stops talking about it, then identify buy zones further down, and then you can DCA in at buy zones. Maybe you get lucky, okay? But the problem with meme coins is they rely on simply just hype alone. They don't have VCs to drive the price up and create that hype, because simply what creates this hype is people injecting money into the markets. If I inject a bunch of money into a coin and it goes up like this, then suddenly everyone else is paying attention. How do I know this? Well, if you're still in crypto and you still have notifications on your phone, which hopefully you don't because it probably drives you crazy, you probably still notice that when, the market pumps a little bit, you get a message from Bybit being like, Bitcoin's up 10% in the last 5 minutes and this altcoin's up 5% in the last 10 minutes. Why are they doing this? Because they want you to jump online and start aping into particular cryptos. And then this causes more pumpage, and then eventually the VCs, etc. will start to rug on you. And this is easy enough to do because the VCs still have billions and billions of dollars. So yes, right now there is a narrative that lots of coins are overinflated. They have huge valuations and low circulating supplies, which I admit is not a great thing. But remember, this is still very early on. Retail investors aren't really in the space in force yet, and they will come back. And why? Because they can't resist it. They can't resist that notification telling them that a juicy 30% gain has just happened in their favorite coin, and they missed out on that, and they need to catch the next 30% gain in a day or the next 300% gain. And that's why when I turn on CoinMarketCap, the biggest hype and excitement is literally at the top of the page. What does CoinMarketCap want me to do? It wants me to get into coins like Beer and Habibi and Biao and other coins I've never even heard of. So silly. This bull market is only just getting started, okay? We have in front of us a good 1 year, maybe 18 months, if we're lucky, to see significant upsides in altcoins. Everyone out there is trying to divert your attention to things that you don't want to have your attention diverted to. You want to get your attention diverted to stuff that isn't doing much right now. And if this pisses you off, and if you think that I'm completely wrong, good, because it means to me that maybe I'm focusing into the right direction. Because the more of you that disagree with me, the more I can be part of the 5% that makes money, while you still remain in the 95% who are chasing dreams in crypto. Notice how I just gaslighted you into getting you on my side. So using CoinMarketCap, use these two things, okay? Don't even look at the left-hand side, although you can if you want. Look at the 90% down, and you can see here. Then what we want to look at is the 7 days, last 7 days. Go and look for the coins that appear to be spiking hardest out of this kind of red dip that are still like significantly down on the 90 days. Here you are, Tau Bitenza, you can see, starting to change the trend. Synthetics starting to change this trend here. Come down through what we got, Gala Gaming, who would have thought, Filecoin, Fetch AI. Go after particular narratives and things that you like the look of, okay? It's really not that difficult. Immutable X as well. Very interesting. Big gaming coins appear to be taking a lot of excitement in this recent little blip towards the upside. Got BMEX, which is like gaming whatever crossover. A cash network having a real pump out of here as well. We talked about it just a couple of days ago. It couldn't be more straightforward as far as I'm concerned. And I highly recommend you just do this and you go through and you go and learn a little bit about some different cryptos. Now, when you come across a new coin that you're not sure about, or you don't really know how to do your research because perhaps you're newer in crypto, let's use today's partner, which is Connext Network, to explain how to do our research and understand why Connext might be a very interesting investment indeed. Now, Connext Network, or Next, has a $25 million market cap. We can then come across to Twitter and identify a few things over here. We can start understanding a little bit more about what this project might do. And we can come down through, we can read some of the things about this project. Basically, Twitter is a great place to start because it keeps a lot of the information in one place and it provides the key information that you need to know about as a retail investor up front. Fragmentation is the number one problem with the modular thesis today. worsening exponentially as more chains, apps, and assets go live. What does that mean? Well, you know already that there's like Ethereum and there's Solana and there's Binance Smart Chain and all these different dApps, decentralized applications that are built on all of these different chains. You'll then start to realize that it's kind of annoying if I develop an app on, let's say, Ethereum and I want other people to have access to it, but they don't have access to the Ethereum network because they think it's too expensive or whatever. They then don't want to access it through a certain chain. And as well, if I want to go and buy a token, but I've only got money in Solana, but I want to be able to purchase a token that's on Ethereum, it's then like, well, how do I swap my money to do all these different things? It becomes really complicated, really painful, and very expensive. So let's find out a little bit more about how this works. Well, we can come over to the white paper. What I'm going to do, because I'm lazy and I want to teach you how to do things quickly, we're just going to copy this particular part of the white paper. We're going to come across to Claude.ai. We're going to paste this in. Let's just copy the architecture and just throw a few other bits and pieces into Claude so we can do this. And you can see now I've basically got all my documents, a bit of text, another document in here. I can then say summarize this project and explain to me as if I'm new to crypto and why this project might do well, whatever, something similar to that. Why do I say new to crypto? Well, because otherwise you might get a really technical answer. Also, other things that work is like explain to me as if I'm 15 or 16 years old, because sometimes that gives you very simple ways to explain it. And what's cool about this is Claude, or the AI tool, is the expert, right? They're going to go through, they're going to analyze it, and they're going to kind of like teach you not only about this project, but they're going to teach you the key things to pay attention to in a particular project. This will then come up time and time again, and when you start to do this more and more, you'll be able to identify different projects and understand kind of key elements to take away that might be really useful for you. So this is the first thing I read. It's a tool to help developers build apps that work across different chains. Interoperability is an enormous keyword within crypto right now. As we move towards the kind of the plan for future mass adoption and things like this, interoperability is an absolutely essential part of this. It's basically saying it creates a universal language that can be understood by all the different chains, which is very key because you can then launch an application that's going to be used on different chains very simply. It improves interoperability, it adds for faster transactions, it increases the security despite encouraging faster transactions. This is another very key thing. Remember the thing with Ethereum, the blockchain trilemma? Well, this is another part of blockchain technology that needs to be understood. Ease of use for developers. If you go and look at any particular chain right now that is exploding towards the upside, it's doing so because developers are moving over there. That will then have a knock-on effect. Bring more developers, bring more dApps, and that can also lead to greater expansion. So now we know that, you can come across the website, and having taken something that sounded really confusing and whatever, we can now start to understand a little bit more about what these words all mean. You can see they're partnered up with some big names across crypto. You can see this is effectively a model of how this works, which basically allows the platform to execute transactions cross-chain, cutting costs, cutting time, adding to security, etc. Now, Everclear was previously known as Connext, which is why it's the next token. And as we can see, for a newer crypto that launched back in September, is starting to show some strength. Now, if I suddenly decide I wanted to buy it, I'll go looking for a buy zone. You can see that we have nice pumps towards the upside like this one up here, but we're already below that, so we need to find the next buy zone. Here we see a push, a dip down into this area, then a significant push out. The last time Next dipped in here, in a very short space of time, it went up 30%. And then all the way up 76%. We currently come back to revisit this area, indicating that if this was a token that I wanted to go and invest in, then this green box offers me prime opportunity. Now, I'll deep dive further into coins like Next in future videos when we start to understand a little bit more about interoperability, the future of blockchains, blockchain development, and many other things. But hopefully this video has skilled you up a bit so that you have a bit more idea of how the markets work, what's really going on behind the scenes, who the puppet masters are, who the puppets are, and how instead of being manipulated, we can start to understand the game and how we can participate in this safely and easily for the future. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, buy low, sell high. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.